Hello, the rare gems. The true warrior fights not for glory, but for mastery of herself. Sigma females have always existed, from ancient times to today. They are a blend of timeless wisdom and modern resilience, drawing strength from the past while navigating the complexities of today's world. While society may try to push women into predefined roles, Sigma females choose to carve their own paths, unapologetically and without compromise. Like the wise women of ancient cultures who shaped their own destinies, Sigma females reject conformity and live by their own code. They understand that true power comes not from external validation, but from within. Whether in the quiet strength of ancient warriors or the intellectual prowess of philosophers, Sigma females carry a legacy of self-reliance, resilience, and inner wisdom. They are not driven by fleeting trends or the approval of others. Instead, they choose to master themselves, sharpen their minds, and remain steady in a world that constantly shifts around them. In the modern world, Sigma females continue this legacy, proving that true independence and strength are not bound by time. They are not defined by their circumstances, but by their ability to adapt, grow, and thrive, no matter the challenges. You, as a Sigma female, possess the same quiet power and depth as those who walked before you. Keep trusting your instincts, honoring your path, and know that, just like the women before you, your strength will always stand the test of time. Let's get started, the rare gems. Number 1. They think in eras, not moments. Most people are obsessed with the now. They chase whatever's trending, react impulsively to every situation, and let their emotions be dictated by short-term highs and lows. But Sigmas, they move differently. They see the bigger picture, the patterns that others miss. They don't just think in terms of days, weeks, or even years. They think in eras. A Sigma doesn't waste energy on temporary victories or minor setbacks. He knows that what matters today might be meaningless tomorrow, and what seems like a loss now might be a setup for something greater. This is why he stays calm when others panic, focused when others are distracted, and strategic when others are reactive. He understands history, not just in books, but in life. He studies cycles, trends, and human nature, and he knows that most people are just repeating patterns from the past without realizing it. This mindset makes him nearly impossible to manipulate. Advertisers can't lure him with short-lived hype. Social media trends don't dictate his values. Emotional outbursts from others don't shake his decisions. He plays the long game. That's why Sigmas age like fine wine. While others burn out chasing quick success or validation, Sigmas quietly build something lasting. Knowledge, skill, financial freedom, mental fortitude. They aren't looking for applause today. They're setting up their future self to be unstoppable. A Sigma understands that life isn't about winning small battles, it's about mastering the entire war. And the only way to do that is to think far beyond the present, beyond what's right in front of you, and beyond what the world tells you to care about. Number 2, they are self-sovereign, like ancient hermits and modern entrepreneurs. Power isn't about how many people follow you, it's about how little you need from them. And Sigmas, they need almost nothing. Since ancient times, the most powerful men have been the ones who could walk away. The lone monks who sought wisdom in the mountains, the warriors who trained in isolation, the strategists who observed from the shadows, they all had one thing in common. They refused to be owned by society's expectations. They understood that real strength comes from mastering yourself first, before engaging with the world. Sigmas today operate under the same principle, but their battlegrounds have changed. Instead of monasteries or hidden training grounds, they build their empires in digital and intellectual landscapes. While the world pressures men to conform, get in line, follow orders, fit into a system, Sigmas take a different path. They carve out lives on their own terms, often through self-made careers, independent income streams, and highly specialized skills that make them invaluable but untouchable. A Sigma doesn't rely on a corporation to survive. He doesn't depend on trends to define his identity. He doesn't seek approval from the herd. He is, in the purest sense, sovereign, in mind, in action, and in presence. He chooses solitude when needed, not because he fears people, but because he refuses to be diluted by their influence. This doesn't mean Sigmas are disconnected or antisocial. They engage with the world, but only on their own terms. They are allies when they choose to be, competitors when necessary, and ghosts when it serves them best. While others are trapped in systems designed to control them, Sigmas walk freely because they built their own. That's the difference. That's self-sovereignty. Number 3, they master the art of strategic disappearance. Most people are desperate to be seen. They crave attention, validation, and the illusion of importance. They broadcast every thought, every move, every success and failure, believing that visibility equals power. But Sigmas, they know better. Sigmas understand something that few ever grasp. True power isn't in being everywhere. It's in knowing when to disappear. They've mastered the art of stepping back at the right moment, withdrawing from situations, people, or even entire environments when it serves their growth, safety, or advantage. This isn't about fear or avoidance, it's about control. In ancient times, the most feared warriors, like the samurai and lone swordsman, would vanish into exile to refine their skills, only to return stronger. Strategists and spies throughout history thrived in the shadows, influencing events from behind the scenes rather than standing in the spotlight. Today, modern hackers, independent thinkers, and elite entrepreneurs do the same, operating under the radar, untraceable, yet undeniably influential. Sigmas don't disappear because they're weak. They disappear because they choose to. When a situation no longer benefits them, they exit without hesitation. When they sense a trap, whether in relationships, business, or society, they remove themselves before they're ensnared. When they need time to sharpen their mind, reset their focus, or prepare for their next move, they retreat into solitude, completely unreachable. And when they return, they're different, smarter, sharper, more dangerous. The world underestimates those who are silent, those who don't constantly announce their presence. But this is exactly why Sigmas hold an advantage. They are never predictable, never fully grasped, and never controlled by the need for visibility. To move unseen is to move freely. To disappear on your own terms is to remain untouchable. And a Sigma, he knows exactly when to step back and when to return. Number 4, they speak the language of symbols, not just words. Most people take things at face value. They hear words, see images, and accept them without question. But Sigmas, they see the layers beneath. They don't just hear what's being said, they decode what's being implied. They don't just see events unfolding, they analyze the patterns leading up to them. In ancient times, knowledge wasn't handed out freely. It was hidden, woven into myths, symbols, and parables. The wise understood that true understanding isn't given, it's earned. The ancient Egyptians used hieroglyphs. The Stoics embedded wisdom in paradoxes. Samurai communicated in subtle gestures. Only those with the patience and intelligence to look deeper could grasp the truth. Sigmas naturally operate this way. They instinctively break down what others take for granted. When they watch the news, they don't just listen. They ask, what's being left out? When they hear someone speak, they focus less on words and more on tone, body language, and hidden intent. When society pushes a new trend, ideology, or crisis, they don't panic or follow blindly. They step back and analyze who benefits from it. This ability makes them immune to manipulation. Whether it's ancient rulers using propaganda or modern influencers selling illusions, Sigmas see through it all. They aren't easily fooled because they understand that most of what the world presents as truth is just a carefully crafted narrative. A Sigma's mind is wired for deeper understanding. He doesn't just consume information, he dissects it. And in a world where deception is everywhere, this makes him untouchable. At number 5, they walk alone, yet are never lonely. Most people are terrified of being alone. They fill their days with noise, texts, notifications, social events, anything to avoid the deafening silence of solitude. They equate being alone with being lonely, as if their value depends on how many people are around to validate it. But Sigmas, they know a secret. Solitude isn't a curse. It's a sanctuary. Throughout history, the most powerful figures have been those who walked alone. The ancient warrior sharpening his sword in the quiet of dawn. The philosopher contemplating life's deepest questions in isolation. the sage withdrawing from society to gain inner clarity. They understood that being alone was an opportunity to grow stronger, to become untangled from the world's distractions. Sigmas carry this ancient wisdom into modern life. While others chase constant social validation, Sigmas are comfortable in their own company. They aren't driven by a need to be seen, heard, or approved of. Instead, they find fulfillment in their own thoughts, their own progress, their own purpose. Self-reflection becomes their weapon, self-improvement their battlefield. They use solitude as a time to think deeply, set goals, and recalibrate their path. They cultivate hobbies, sharpen skills, and immerse themselves in learning. Where others might feel abandoned, Sigmas find a rare and unshakable inner peace. They walk alone, not because they have to, but because they choose to. And the irony, this self-reliance makes their relationships richer. When a Sigma does connect with someone, it's authentic and meaningful, free from the toxic clinginess of those who fear being alone. Their relationships are built on mutual respect, not desperation. In a world addicted to attention, a Sigma's comfort with solitude is both a rebellion and a refuge. They don't need the world to validate them, and that makes them invincible. They are alone, but never lonely, because their sense of self comes from within, not from the crowd. Number 6. They adapt without selling their soul. The world constantly shifts. Trends rise and fall. Rules change overnight. Most people either resist change until it breaks them or conform so completely that they lose themselves in the process. But Sigmas, they evolve without erasing who they are. History's strongest minds, Marcus Aurelius, Miyamoto Musashi, Sun Tzu, all lived in times of upheaval. They faced wars, betrayals, and shifting power structures. Yet instead of being swept away, they adapted, they learned, they adjusted, but they never lost their core values. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire in chaos, yet never abandoned his stoic principles. Musashi went from being a lone swordsman to a master strategist, but never compromised his warrior's code. Sigmas embody this same resilience. They aren't stuck in the past, nor are they slaves to the present. They observe, they analyze, and they adjust, but they never betray themselves. In today's world, where people constantly shapeshift to fit in, Sigmas remain unshaken. When society pressures them to conform, they know how to blend in without becoming part of the herd. When the economy shifts, they find new ways to thrive without losing their independence. When relationships test their boundaries, they adapt without lowering their standards. This ability makes them dangerous. The world expects people to either submit or rebel mindlessly. Sigmas do neither. They change their strategy, not their soul. They play the game, but never become the game. It's why they succeed where others crumble. While the weak are torn apart by change, Sigmas stand firm, adjusting to the storm but never letting it rewrite who they are. Number 7. They are ghosts of systems, both ancient and digital. Some people crave recognition. They want their name on the board, their face in the crowd, their status stamped with approval. But Sigmas, they move in silence. In feudal societies, power wasn't just held by kings and generals. There were warriors, spies, and strategists who operated in the shadows. Ronin, who answered to no master. Ninjas who influenced events without being seen. Philosophers who shaped minds without seeking the throne. These figures understood that true power isn't in visibility, it's in control. Sigmas bring this same ghost-like presence into the modern world. They don't chase titles, yet they command respect. They don't seek validation, yet their influence is undeniable. Whether in corporate structures, financial markets, or digital spaces, they operate just outside the system, using it, but never being trapped by it. In business, they avoid the office politics that consume others, choosing independent careers or remote work where they answer to no one. In finance, they maneuver wisely, investing, trading, or building assets while others chase paychecks. In the digital world, they observe quietly, leveraging information without exposing themselves to the performative madness of social media. This isn't isolation, it's tactical invisibility. They know that the moment you step into the spotlight, you become a target of expectations, of criticism, of control. By staying just beyond reach, they remain untouchable. While others fight for attention, Sigmas pull the strings from the shadows. They don't need to be seen. They don't need to be praised. They just need to win. At number 8, they understand that freedom has always been a personal war. Freedom has never been a gift. It's never been something handed down by rulers or governments, passed through the masses as if it were a shared inheritance. True freedom has always been earned, often through struggle, sacrifice, and most of all, personal willpower. Sigmas understand this better than most. From ancient revolts against oppressive empires to modern digital resistance against corporate giants and social constraints, history is full of examples where freedom wasn't given. It was taken. Whether it was rebels fighting for independence or individuals carving out lives free from the control of institutions, the path to autonomy has always been marked by defiance and grit. Sigmas don't wait for permission to live life on their own terms. They don't look to external forces to grant them independence. They create it themselves through their own efforts, choices, and mindset. They know that real freedom comes from self-reliance, building careers that don't depend on the approval of others, mastering skills that make them indispensable, and investing wisely to achieve financial autonomy. But it's not just about money or power. Sigmas also protect their psychological freedom. They aren't enslaved by societal expectations or the opinions of others. They don't need to be constantly validated, and they don't chase fleeting pleasures. Instead, they forge their own inner peace, untouched by the chaos and noise of the outside world. This is why Sigmas are so unstoppable. The world may try to box them in, label them, or push them into predetermined paths, but they refuse to be confined. They know freedom isn't something granted. It's something fought for and earned, one decision at a time. Number 9. They do not fear the collapse of systems. They prepare for it. History has shown us one undeniable truth. Everything falls eventually. Empires crumble, economies collapse, and societies shift in ways we can't always predict. The rich and powerful might look unshakable today, but their success is often tied to fragile systems that can unravel at any moment. Sigmas are different. They don't fear the collapse of systems, they prepare for it. From the fall of Rome to the collapse of modern financial markets, the world has always been in a constant state of flux. What's solid one day can be nothing more than rubble the next. The key to survival, however, is not in resisting change, but in anticipating it and adapting before it hits. Sigmas know that. They aren't blind to the imperfections of the systems they exist within. They see the cracks, and instead of worrying about them, they build their own safety nets. Financial independence is a big part of this. Sigmas don't rely on one source of income or tie their futures to a single job or employer. They diversify their assets, invest in their skills, and stay ahead of the curve. When the economy crashes or job markets tighten, they're ready, secure in their ability to survive and thrive regardless of the chaos around them. But financial security is only part of the equation. Sigmas also focus on psychological resilience. They don't tie their sense of worth or stability to external systems. Their inner strength is their foundation. They aren't fragile when society changes. In fact, they thrive in uncertain times, finding opportunity where others see destruction. While others panic when systems collapse, Sigmas are calm, collected, and prepared. They see the world not as something to fear, but as a challenge to be met with strategy, adaptability, and resilience. That's why they don't just survive, they prosper no matter what happens. At number 10, they exist outside the time traps of both the past and future. While most people get trapped in the endless cycle of nostalgia or the constant worry about the future, Sigmas exist outside this chaotic loop. They don't live in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's uncertainties. Instead, they master the art of being fully present, taking the lessons from the past without being chained by it, and planning for the future without letting anxiety take hold. It's common to hear people lament the good old days, constantly comparing the present to an idealized past that may never have existed. Others obsess over what the future might hold, worrying about opportunities missed or dangers yet to come. These constant preoccupations can steal precious moments and prevent true clarity. Sigmas see through this. They are aware of history's lessons, but they don't let it control them. They're keen to learn from past mistakes, but not burdened by them. They extract wisdom from the past without living in it. At the same time, Sigmas don't fall into the trap of relentless future chasing. They don't fixate on what could go wrong in the next month, year, or decade. Instead of living in fear or wishful thinking about the future, they focus on today, on taking deliberate steps toward a future they are actively creating. Their confidence in their ability to shape what's ahead frees them from the grip of anxiety or uncertainty. What makes Sigmas exceptional is their ability to live fully in the present while balancing the knowledge of the past and the foresight of the future. They are not consumed by what they've lost or what they stand to gain. They understand that true power lies in the now, in being focused, intentional, and in the moment, while always progressing forward with clarity and purpose. Number 11. They are the ultimate shapeshifters, masters of context, not conformity. In ancient times, warriors had to blend in, whether it was infiltrating enemy camps or gaining information under the cover of darkness. They adapted to their surroundings without ever losing their sense of self or their mission. Sigmas carry this skill into the modern world, becoming masters of context rather than conformity. Whether they're in a corporate boardroom, navigating digital landscapes, or at a social gathering, Sigmas can adapt seamlessly without ever becoming a product of the environment around them. In the corporate world, for example, where power dynamics can shift like quicksand, Sigmas move through meetings and projects with an almost supernatural ability to read the room. They know who to listen to, who to influence, and when to step back. But here's the key. While they're observing and adjusting, they don't lose themselves in the process. Unlike those who get swallowed by the crowd or become mere extensions of the corporate machine, Sigmas use their adaptability to their advantage without being trapped by it. On social media, in digital spaces, or even in small social circles, Sigmas perform a similar dance. They are able to shape their persona to fit various contexts. But unlike those who conform to be liked, Sigmas maintain their authenticity. They don't mold themselves to be accepted. They mold the context to fit their strategic purpose, whether it's to make a point, influence, or stay incognito. Sigmas are experts at shifting shapes, never tied to one identity or expectation, but constantly adjusting to their surroundings with finesse. They move with purpose, knowing that being adaptable is not about fitting in. It's about mastering every space they step into, all while staying true to their core. In conclusion, Sigmas are not just shaped by the world around them. They've always existed in a timeless, almost universal way. From the ancient warriors, philosophers, and sages who carved their paths without seeking validation, to the modern-day individuals who reject conformity and embrace their own journey, Sigmas embody a rare blend of the old and the new. They carry the wisdom of the past while staying rooted in the present, understanding that the future is theirs to shape. You are not bound by fleeting trends, nor do you chase after superficial validation. You see the world with a deeper clarity, just like those who walked before you, and refuse to be swayed by distractions or empty promises. You choose mastery over comfort, peace over pleasure, because you understand that real power comes from within. And the strongest forces in life are those that come from silent, steady progress. You are both an ancient soul and a modern force, shaping your path with precision, confidence, and authenticity. Whether you're facing the challenges of today or reflecting on the lessons of history, you know how to navigate this world without ever losing sight of who you are. You create your own rules, and in doing so, you continue to rise, just as those before you did. Remember, Sigmas are not defined by the circumstances they face, but by their ability to adapt, evolve, and thrive in any environment. You are both ancient and modern because you carry within you the essence of both. Keep walking your path, because the world needs more of what you represent: quiet strength, relentless growth, and the wisdom that comes from living on your own terms. Thanks for watching The Rare Gems. See you in our next video. Bye for now, and God bless.